Which perennial plants should you choose and plant to bloom in the fall? The big stars of autumn, it must be said, are the asters and chrysanthemums. Asters, with this particularity, if you observe them, as soon as there is a ray of sunshine, you can see butterflies fluttering above them. Not only do butterflies frequent the asters, but you'll also find a multitude of bees. One could consider that asters would also be honey plants in the garden. So, to plant in the fall autumn asters, we must acknowledge that thanks to All Saints' Day, chrysanthemums bloom on stalls and markets, and we see them a little bit everywhere. So, it might also be a good time to plant chrysanthemums during this period. So with a little bit of luck, if you cover the stumps well during the winter, they will bloom again next year, starting in October. An excellent plant for autumn blooming yarrow, a beautiful yarrow. When I talk about autumn blooming, it refers to a plant that blooms for the second time, but only on one condition. It must be cut back as soon as it has finished flowering. This is often the case with other plants as well. We can mention the Roseanne geranium. Other geraniums too, once they have been cut back, will bloom again a few weeks later, which is why it's worth doing. There are also some plants that extend their blooming period. Late summer bloom that is more commonly seen in the fall. This is the case with red gaura, for example. All the black-eyed Susans continue to bloom as long as they don't freeze, and even when there is a light frost, they are able to withstand it. This is also the case for showy stonecrop. Yellow coreopsis also continues to bloom in the fall. Let's continue our little floral walk. When I talk about a floral walk, I mean plants that are decorative in the fall, and this is true for all grasses. So thanks to the spikes, here we have fountain grass with quite typical flowers that can also be used as cut flowers, which is also the case with miscanthus. So miscanthus, which has the particularity of being very tall, can grow up to 2.50 meters or even higher, but there are much smaller varieties of miscanthus, and it will be decorative for its plumes. And then I will finish with two favorites, knotweed, not to be confused with Japanese knotweed, which is very invasive. So here we are talking about knotweed with red blooms featuring red spikes, and then we will stay in Japan with the Japanese anemone. Now, the Japanese anemone tends to spread quite a bit in the garden. So in the spring, if you want to divide clumps or rhizomes, it's the right time to do it to have a beautiful autumn bloom.